This video, I'm going to make one of everybody's favorites, homemade biscuits and gravy. It's a lot easier than you might think it is if you've never made it before. So let's just get started. Start with the biscuits first. Use a large, heavy mixing bowl. I've got 2 cups of flour in here. And to the 2 cups of flour, I want to add 4 teaspoons of baking powder, and then a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and this is a half a teaspoon of pepper. I used white pepper, but you can use black pepper if you want to. It's no big deal. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I use sea salt, but any salt will be fine. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of just barely melted butter. First, I'm going to do a quick mix on the dry ingredients. Just try to get them pretty evenly mixed together. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, those are pretty well mixed. 2 tablespoons of just barely melted butter. Don't want it to be hot, just so it's in a liquid state. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of sour cream. Kind of heaping tablespoons. So it's probably closer to 3 tablespoons altogether. And just mix it together. It'll take a couple minutes, and it'll start to look, kind of like breadcrumbs or just little crummy particles. It'll start clumping together, and just keep mixing it until it kind of resembles just little clumps, like little clumps of dirt or little clumps of sand. If you want, you can use While you're doing this, the oven is preheating to 450 degrees. This is looking pretty good. It's pretty well. Just going to add 1 cup of cold milk. This is going to make for a really wet biscuit dough. It's going to be really sticky and really wet. But that's okay. That's what we're looking for. And just mix it together. Don't overmix it. Just mix it so that everything comes together really well. It won't take very long at all. But you don't want to keep the amount of flour on the counter. And again, when you're rolling this out, you just want to barely pat it together. You don't want to overdo it. The more you mix it, the more you work it, the more you roll it out there, it's going to make them tougher, and they won't rise up nearly as high. Possible. And a little flour on top. Just carefully pat it out very evenly as possible. Gonna want it to be fairly thick, at least an inch, 1 1/4 inches thick is about what you're looking for here. There we go. If you don't have a biscuit cutter, you can use a small can, like I did here. You cut the end off naturally, and cut a hole in the other end for the air to escape. So when you push down, the air has somewhere to go. And then go ahead and push straight down. You may want to use a spatula of some sort, as they are very sticky and very difficult. And all the remainder here, just carefully bring it together. Again, you don't want to work it very much, just bring it back together. Roll it out a little bit thicker if you need to, because that'll compensate for it not going to be rising as much. Well, that one's just about all ready to go there by itself. It's a little thick, but that's alright. It'll be just fine. And there they are. And like I say, they're really thick, really sticky. And I just brought the biscuits out of the oven. Took almost 16 minutes. See, they've risen up very nicely. Nice and thick and fluffy there. This is that one last big one. It turned out real nice. They're all ready to go. And what I have here in the pan is a ½ pound of breakfast sausage. It's browning up for the gravy. Well, I think this sausage is browned up just fine. I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to substitute some olive oil here. I'm going about 2 tablespoons. Pretty close to it. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of flour. And this is how we make the roux, our O-U-X roux. Scrape up the browned bits of stuff that are on the bottom of the pan from the sausage. There's lots and lots of flavor in it. So scrape that up into the roux here. By the oil. You want to cook it for a couple 3 minutes. Keep it moving so it won't burn. But cook it so that it cooks that floury taste out of it. Oh, maybe 3, maybe 4 minutes. That'll be plenty usually. Keep it moving. And it's doing pretty good there. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of milk to it. And I'll just keep working the roux mixture till it dissolves into the milk. And then it'll begin to thicken up when that happens. That'll take just a few minutes. You can hear Mallory talking again there. That's my cat. She likes to be noisy. Okay, it's starting to thicken up really nicely now. So I'm going to go ahead and add the sausage back into the gravy mixture. Just for fun, I'm going to add a tiny splash of Worcestershire sauce. And because I like pepper, generous splash of some white pepper. You can use black pepper, white pepper. Oh, you can even use red peppers, chili peppers. It's all good. Well, I'd say this gravy is ready. It's steaming up nice and hot. It's looking very good. I'm going to shut it off and unplug it. I've already cut 2 biscuits in half, and if the gravy thickens up on you too much, just add a little bit more milk and mix it in really well. Just depends on whether you like your gravy really thick or really thin or somewhere in between. And there you go. Biscuits and gravy. Good enough to give your doctor a heart attack, probably.